With the NFL draft quickly approaching, the rumor mill is in full swing. Are the Jets and Falcons talking trade?
Jets, Jets!
Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot today. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Jets and Falcons fans, there's apparently a trade rumor brewing. Take that with a grain of salt. This whole series of events leading up to the draft is always a crapshoot, so you never know what's going on. But let's try to dissect it as best we can. There's two trade value charts. You can kind of throw those out the window when quarterbacks or whatever are involved, but I don't believe that to be the case here. I think they're still rolling with Matt Ryan. So who could they possibly be coming up from 16 to 11 to get? Who could potentially be, at risk to not making it to 16? Now, when I jumped over to the Falcons fan forums, and Falcon fans that are watching this, please make your comment known down below. But it looks like the Falcons fans want either a cornerback or a defensive tackle. Now, I project Isaiah Simmons is probably going to be gone before 11, and Derek Brown will also be gone. So you're probably looking at C.J. Henderson, Okudah, or Kinlaw. Those would be the three players that I'm kind of looking at. When you look at the trade value chart, and it's sort of a rough idea for those of you that don't know, it is sort of assigns a value to each pick in the NFL draft, and it's more of a guideline than anything else, because depending on who the pick is or how desperate a team is to move back, those values sort of change. So there's two value charts. There's the traditional one, which Jimmy Johnson came up with, has about a 250-point difference in pick value, so the Jets would wind up getting the Falcons' third and fourth round pick. In the Rich Hill value chart, which takes into account the compensation picks and how they could be traded, it's a little more updated, probably a little more accurate over the course of the last few years, but you could really use either one. Teams kind of differ on this. But the Rich Hill chart basically says that the 78th pick, or the Falcons' third round pick, would be the pick that would get us up there. So at the very least, you're talking third round pick. At most, you're probably saying third and fourth round pick. So if I'm the Jets, do I do that? I would look to move back. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I think adding an extra day 2 pick would definitely help us. We need a lot of holes fixed across the offensive line. There's a few different ways we can look at this. Now, if the Jets are falling back, it could mean that the tackle they want is not there. I had projected 3 of the top 4 tackles being gone by the time we pick, and I had the speculation that maybe Joe Douglas likes 3 of the 4 tackles. Maybe he doesn't like all 4. Maybe one just has bad technique or something, and maybe there's other tackles that he would prefer maybe later on. So let's say the tackle he wants is gone at number 11, and taking a wide receiver so high might not be the best interest of the team. If I slide back to 16, now all of a sudden you had a day 2 pick. Now maybe you pick up one of those offensive tackles that you feel a little more comfortable taking, someone like a Josh Jones from Houston. Maybe you take Cleveland. That's probably a little too high for me. I had him going towards the back end of the first round. Or you take a wide receiver. Chances are one of the 3 or maybe that 4th wide receiver on the board could be had at 16. I wanted to bring up another interesting topic of discussion, though. And Falcons fans, let me know if this is totally asinine, because it very well might be. If you guys are looking to come up for a defensive tackle, the Jets have a plethora of defensive tackles right now, particularly one that was drafted by the previous GM at number 3 overall last year. Now, that said, he does have a gun charge. We're talking about Quinnen Williams here. He does have a gun charge against him for bringing a handgun into LaGuardia Airport. Whether or not that is dropped or not, is to be seen. He could wind up missing time. I don't think it'll be this year, maybe a game or 2 next year. So that could be a little linchpin in this situation. If the Jets were to trade him, the signing bonus is already paid out. So it's not like you're drafting a first-round player and paying him that signing bonus with the pseudo-big contract. You would be getting Quinnen Williams for significantly cheaper. Granted, it would only be for 4 years instead of the potential 5 if you guys were to go up and get Kinlaw. Is there a situation where the Falcons could potentially get the number 3 player in last year's draft for their number 16 overall pick this year? This would give the Jets the number 11 and number 16 pick, and that would go a long way to rebuilding the Jets. That would be something I'd be very interested in. Now, with the Jets, there are hurdles with this. At the trade deadline, 2 players on the Jets roster were considered untouchable. One was Sam Darnold, the other was Quinnen Williams. I don't believe Quinnen Williams was untouchable due to his talent. I believe he was untouchable due to his contract, because if the Jets were to trade him at the past deadline, it would have been like an $18 million dead cap hit, and it would have made absolutely no sense for the Jets. At this point, it's a little bit different. The Jets would eat $9 million in additional cap space this year. So as a Jet fan, you're talking potentially eating $9 million of cap and trading away last year's first-round pick for the opportunity to take a new 5-year contract, wide receiver, or offensive tackle. So the Jets would have 11 and 16. You take, top offensive tackle 11, whoever the top receiver on your board is at 16. That's what I would like to do if that were possible. And that's not me saying I'm giving up on Quinnen Williams. I think he has a lot of potential. Injuries kind of plagued him at the very beginning of the year last year. So there's a lot of upside there. I just think since the Jets have a lot of defensive line help at this particular moment and not so much on the offensive side, you could get me on board with doing that trade. Falcons fans, Jet fans, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Is a third-round pick not enough, Jet fans? Do you want more? Falcons fans, what do you guys want to give up? Who are you coming up to get? Jet fans, who would you take at 16 if we were to fall back? Let me know everything in the comments down below. And as always, go Jets.